This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
This guy is sick. There's something wrong with this guy.
I think he's betraying a quite stupefying ignorance.
What? After a bit of weather today, which was mostly to be found outside, Britain is going to be hit by heavy downpours and thunderstorms and hail tomorrow as the school summer gets off to a soggy start.
Damn it!
More than an inch of rain could fall in parts of the UK. And to get from inches to feet, you double it and add 32. So double 1 is 4 and add 32 is 432. So that's 432 feet of rain in one day. Can you believe that?
No.
But the weather is going to turn from Sunday, when the sunshine comes back in most areas. And temperatures are up to, get ready, grip onto something firm, 93 degrees are expected by the middle of next week. We'll take it. The hot weather is forecast to peak next Tuesday and Wednesday. You'll be able to see it through the window in your office. It's always during the week that the weather gets great. At the weekend, it's pouring down with rain. Oh, well, never mind. It's only life. The hot weather forecast to peak next Tuesday and Wednesday, which could set a record for the UK's hottest day of the year so far, beating the 93 Fahrenheit recorded in West London on June the 29th. It is going to give that record a damn good thrashing. So, heavy rain today, but tomorrow is going to be brighter, with some sunny spells, but also a chance of showers. Heavy and thundery rain in places are going to be accompanied by hail.
Oh, no.
Yes. But, and it's a huge, giant, wobbling but, Met Office Deputy Chief Meteorologist... Shall I do that again?
No.
Met Office Deputy Chief Meteorologist Dan said... Oh, blimey, what a title. That's ridiculous. See, that's even the short version. Meteorological Office Deputy Chief Meteorologist. Forget it. That's ridiculous. Anyway, it's a bloke called Dan. He said, as we head into next week, we're expecting some parts of the country to see some very warm weather which could reach heat wave thresholds. That's what Meteorological Office Deputy Chief Meteorologist Dan said. Of course, listeners in Glasgow will get their own weather. Temperatures will be nearer to normal, despite high humidity in the cloudier, windier and wetter parts of the northwest, wherever that is. The Met Office has issued a warning for Scotland and Northern Ireland running from 7 p.m. today. That is at this moment. A weather warning.
Warning, warning.
Following speculation about a continental heat dome, Dan said... You remember Dan? The Meteorological Office Deputy Chief Meteorologist? Wow. Hey, it just takes a bit of practice, don't it? He said a high-pressure system will develop over the near continent, bringing warm continental air into the southeast of the UK. Wait a minute. Oh, no. EU air?
Disgusting.
But we'll just have to put up with it. It's going to be glorious, people, except in Glasgow. I can check that while you... I mean, that's my assumption, but I can check that while you wait. So let's see. So keep in mind it's going to be 93 degrees and baking hot sun in the south. In Glasgow, on the other hand, it's going to be raining tonight and raining tomorrow and raining on Sunday and raining on Monday and cloudy on Tuesday and raining on Wednesday and raining on Thursday and raining on Friday and raining on Saturday and raining on Sunday and cloudy on Monday and raining on Tuesday and raining on Wednesday. And that takes you right the way through to August the 1st, when it will be raining.
Oh, no.
Yep, afraid so. There's nothing I can do about it. Fortunately, it's a great town and there's plenty of amusements. And lots of places to be inside. So we're less jaw, more war, which is just the way that you-know-who likes it. You-know-who.
I'll bring us into war.
Royal Marines helped seize an Iranian supertanker suspected of carrying oil to Syria off the coast of Gibraltar, escalating tensions between the UK and Tehran as the agreement aimed at halting Iran's nuclear program unravels because of you-know-who. He's unravelled it, personally. because he doesn't like the deal, because it was a really bad deal. Nobody ever saw such a bad deal, because his previous previous incumbent signed the deal. I'm not saying that it had anything to do with him being black and all, but a detachment of nearly 30 British troops working with the Gibraltar police intercepted the vessel believed to be carrying 2 million barrels of oil in a dramatic manoeuvre that Spain said had been conducted at the request of the US. And we said, no, it weren't the US. God, we are crawling across the carpet to lick Donald Trump's shoes. Thank goodness we've taken back control. The ship's captain, chief officer and 2 second officers were arrested and bailed, and an investigation is ongoing, apparently. Iran's supreme, really? I mean, is he that great? Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, he called the tanker's seizure an act of piracy on Tuesday, and this was a couple of weeks ago now, and warned the UK to expect a response. And when the response came, we're like, what? We weren't expecting this. Who could possibly have predicted that our actions on behalf of the Orange Nightmare in the White House would have consequences? If only there was some way to tell that Iran would react in kind, apart from the Iranians telling us that they would react in kind, which they did. Fast forward 2 weeks today, Iran seized a British-registered oil tanker with 23 crew in the Strait of Hormuz. A second British-owned vessel is also feared to have been captured by Iranian forces. But marine tracking data showed it turning dramatically off course towards the Iranian coast. I don't know, do oil tankers turn dramatically? I don't think they do they? They take forever to turn. President Donald Trump said he would talk to Britain about the issue. Oh, great. We're going to talk about it. We'll have a great talk and a huge talk. It's going to be a great talk. You know more about that than anybody. We're going to have a talk that'll be huge and tremendous and fantastic. Meanwhile, the Iranians and the Americans are having a spat about a drone. You might think that Donald Trump is a drone.
I'm president. Can you believe it?
He says that the Americans downed an Iranian drone, and the Iranians said, nuh-uh, or words to that effect. Washington, that's actually, oh no you didn't, in Farsi. And that's a fact. Washington claimed that a US warship downed an Iranian drone near the Persian Gulf. American officials said they used electronic jamming to bring down the unmanned craft. They're jamming, like Bob Marley. President Donald Trump said that we shot it down. So the US military said we electronically jammed it. The US president said they shot it down. And the Iranians said there ain't no such drone in the first place. What you talking about, you orange numpty? All words to that effect. I mean, who to believe? Who is telling the truth?
Believe me. 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 Okay.
Nobody believes you, Donny. No one believes you. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. This is a suspiciously keen caller in Bodmin. Malcolm.
Hello, Nick.
Malcolm.
Malcolm. Nick, I think that Tony Blair and the other Labour critics of Brexit should back off and just let the Labour Party kill itself. And then they will be able to retake the Labour Party back to sensible people like you and me who just say, we are the party of the working classes. Brexit, Nick, won't happen. Brexit will not happen. It's obvious. And we don't have to rely on Labour MPs for that, because there are so many Tory MPs who do not want a no-deal Brexit, that a no-deal Brexit will not happen. And I think all of the Labour people like me have to do is just sit back, let the Labour Party kill itself under Corbyn, because it will. Corbyn will kill himself. And I think the Labour Party will, in the end, reclaim itself and become normal again.
I think normal has sailed and sank. I think
No,
if we're going to
No.
sit around and wait for normal to return, Malcolm, then we're in for a big, long wait.
Nick, trust me, normal is coming back soon. Because when Boris is in charge, the country will say, "Oh my God, let's get normal back again."
Yeah, I'm not sure that Boris is going to be in charge long enough for us to form an opinion. I think he's going to be in.
I agree with you, Nick.
Yeah.
I agree with you absolutely. Boris will be there for maybe 6 months.
Yeah, a couple of
if he's
minutes.
Lucky.
Yeah, an hour
If
tops.
If he's lucky. And the Tories will kill him off because the ERG are going to say, "Boris, you're just not giving us what we want." And they'll be dead. And then Labour then, when Corbyn has gone, and Nick, he will be gone soon, then we'll be laughing all the way to the bank.
Okay, thanks for the update, Malcolm. That was Malcolm from Bodmin, the chief political correspondent of the Daily Telegraph. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850, email nick@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Well, we've heard all of the promises that Boris Johnson has made, and would you like to know how much they're going to cost?
No.
All right, I'll go through it in just a minute.
This is LBC.
When travel.
LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet @LBC. Text 84850.
And he's a great guy, and he's an honest guy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Donny, but you're not my type. I'm surprised I'm your type. What with me not being an Eastern European illegal immigrant and all. Plus, there's that whole not being a woman thing. How about if I identify as a Nazi? Would that help? Tony texts, we need to send HMS Brexit to get Iran... no, wait, I got that wrong. I'm not very good at this job. Tony says, we need to send HMS Brexit to Iran to get our country back. And Ken says, if Boris becomes Prime Minister, I think he will need to appoint his own personal hair ruffler. Or, actually, fluffer would be better. I think fluffer is funnier. Trust me, Ken, I'm a professional. Fluffer is funnier. He says, if Boris becomes Prime Minister, I think he will need to appoint his own personal hair fluffer. See? Funnier. At present, Boris is responsible for fluffing his own hair. However, if he is Prime Minister, I don't think he will have the time to devote the 6 hours a day that he currently does to this task. Well, at least he has passes for a hair do or don't. It's a hair don't, as opposed to that mysterious Mobius strip of candy floss that hovers above Donald Trump's powdered face. That's why nobody sees Donald Trump in the morning, is because the teams of people, construction workers, put up scaffolding around his head to create whatever it is he calls that hairdo. This tweet says, what do people do when they don't want to travel in a mobile microwave oven? What do people who don't want to travel in a mobile microwave oven have to do for transport now? And what about people who don't want to work in a microwave oven? What the hell's that about? What's that about?
I think it's about the heat.
A microwave oven?
I think they meant about the tube or something. Or maybe I'm completely wrong on this.
Well, yeah, probably. There's a lot of wrong about that. Archie texts, all that EU air coming over here, I've had enough. I just want Brexit. And Mars bars. What does that mean?
Boris Johnson said the other day there'll still be Mars bars.
Oh, God. Is anybody still listening to what Boris Johnson says?
No.
Your presidency is stale before it's even started, Boris. Bloomsbury, Sophia.
Good evening, Nick. It is such a strain. I agree totally with you. And I can't stand nagging. I mean, Donald Trump told us before that he liked Boris Johnson. And then he's telling us again that he likes Boris Johnson.
Mystifying, really. I don't know why. If he heard what Boris Johnson thinks of him, then he might think again.
I have to say, when Donald Trump says that there are parts of London that are no-go areas, I think he's betraying a quite stupefying ignorance that makes him, frankly, unfit to hold the office of President of the United States.
If somebody has a tape of Boris Johnson insulting Donald Trump, then they better keep it to themselves. Otherwise, the special relationship is up in smoke.
Well, mainly what Boris Johnson is thinking about at the moment is kippers. And as if nobody knew anything about fish, then he's waving it around to inform us. Well, we know that most poor people can go to the shop and get kippers very cheaply.
Yeah, he was lying about that fish, by the way. That has nothing to do with the EU. That whole ice pillow thing, which was an amusing line, it's a comical way to put it. Each fish has to have its own ice pillow. That does seem like a ridiculous rule, but it's not the EU's rule at all. It's ours. So he lied about that, or he was ignorant of the facts. I don't know which is worse.
Well, he doesn't care about telling the truth. All he cares about is his long advocated ambition to be in number 10.
And in that regard, he and Donald Trump are two peas in a pod.
Yes,
A big fat pod.
Our politics do not concern him, and if Boris Johnson says that his private life doesn't concern us, well, I don't think that it's usually the habit in number 10 that we don't know what is happening there. So there are one or two things that Boris Johnson has given up doing lately.
Like what?
Worrying about his own lifestyle.
Oh, right.
That we've all heard about, and
You know when all the Conservative politicians were lining up to tell us how many drugs they've taken? What did
I can believe it.
What did he say? I mean, I know that everybody was, they were in like a race to list the amount of drugs that they had taken. Of course, a long time ago, and they didn't, and they only did it by mistake, and they didn't really enjoy it. You know, the full flannel that they all always give us. But I can't remember what Boris Johnson said on the matter. How many drugs did Boris Johnson say he'd taken, if at all?
Well, I don't believe that they can ever change their policy in regard to this. So whether Boris Johnson feels he needs to take drugs to do what he wants.
No, I'm not suggesting that.
debatable.
I'm just trying to remember which drugs Boris Johnson said he'd taken, or did he plead the fifth, like they say in America, and keep stum about it? I don't recall. But anyway, Sophia, you want Donald Trump to get his nose out of our affairs.
Exactly. That's exactly what I wanted, and not to repeat the fact, because it doesn't concern him. I mean, we cannot take being deprived of our own situation in this manner. I mean, we are far more subtle than that, and we are just antagonizing Iran with the fact that we are giving into a simplistic view of life, and it's just might be accepted by other people as well, that we're not as subtle as we think we are.
I don't think we're subtle at all. I think we're quite obviously the special relationship is that we are America's poodle.
Oh yeah, lapdogs. Yeah.
Yeah. One of those snappy, yappy lapdogs that is itching for a fight, and will follow any American leader that says, "Come on, let's go."
Absolutely.
Like we did last time. Another war in the Middle East. Whoopee, we're all going to die.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that he's listened to the fact that we don't want him altering what we're doing, and is he trying to get re-elected? I hear a lot of people are going to leave the country anyway if he does. And so
I refuse to step foot in the United States of America with Donald Trump as president. I just won't do it.
Well, I was in Massachusetts not long ago, and I thought all was wonderful. But I think it's been altered since that time.
Yeah. Maybe I'll go to if at all, I'd go to New York or California, because they hate Donald Trump even more than we do.
Yes, well, that could be the case. Yeah. But I know when I was in New York, I couldn't get into Massachusetts quickly enough. And is the case of the primaries. I rode on a bicycle into New Hampshire, and I thought things were actually going to go against Donald Trump. But,
well, you should have been listening to this show, Sophia, because I predicted that Donald Trump was going to be the next president of the United States of America.
I'm president. Can you believe it?
It's he took up more screen than anybody that he was in competition with. So, you know, he was just a larger person, a great square block of a person. Okay, Sophia, I've got to go, but thanks a lot. 0345 6060 973. What do you think, Kanye?
Whoop-dee-dee scoop poop.
03... Oh, I said that already. James in Wolverhampton says, I don't want to alarm you. Well, I don't like the sound of that. I mean, that's a really bad way to start a sentence. You don't want to alarm me, but... He says, I don't want to alarm you, but I don't think your first caller was the chief political editor of the Daily Telegraph. What? I've been duped. Chris in Germany says, that last caller, Malcolm, sounded like the press guy of Dad's Army. And Jimmy says, Boris Johnson will make Britain great again. He will get us out of this Brexit mess and get us out, says Jimmy, who has been drinking the Kool-Aid. But it's good that you remembered at least one slogan there, Jimmy. 2 sentences, but only one slogan. Better luck next time. Make Britain great again. Because, we used to be great when the map was coloured pink and we ruled the waves. And we ran India, for instance, at the end of a gun. That's when we were great. And since then, since films were in colour, it's just all gone to pot. And when Benny Hill was taken off the TV, well, then you knew that was our nadir, dear. But fortunately, Boris Johnson is going to make Britain great again. Ain't that right, Boris?
Here we go.
Yeah,
okay.
here we go. A great leap in the dark. Oh, there was this comical thing that came out from somebody from the EU did an interview about our wait a minute. Oh yes, Franz Timmermans out of the EU. You know Franz Timmermans? No! Yes, that's him. Well, he has insulted our negotiating team. What? Yeah, believe that. I'll come to that in a minute. And I also want to go through all of the promises that Boris Johnson has made, most of which I would imagine he's forgotten already. Because, like Donald Trump, he just says a lot of things that he thinks is going to get him a warm response to his immediate audience. And as soon as he said them, well, then he just drops that thought on the ground and marches on. But somebody's taking notes. I know I am. And I'll tell you how much they're going to cost in just a minute. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, you're probably wasting your life. Hey, Twitter's changed. I woke up today and it's all different. I don't like it. Friday and Saturday night at 10, Nick Abbot, LBC. The time is 10:30. The news headlines with Zora Suleiman.
Iran has... In Britain's Conversation, LBC, with Nick Abbot.
This is absolute tosh.
Yeah, what a story that was. A baby tornado has swept through Manchester, damaging buildings and cars and leaving debris strewn in its wake. The tornado hit areas around Manchester Airport to the south of the city centre at 5 p.m. today. Dan Teasdale tweeted some footage of the swirling cloud over the Tatton Park Flower Show, it says here. And there it is. There's footage. Blimey. It's like the end of the world. Terrible. A baby tornado. And guess who that sounds like? Exactly. I'm going to add that to the names that I give him. Along with the Tangerine Scream, the Screaming Mimi, the Orange Nightmare, Fat Donny, and now the Baby Tornado.
Oh, shut up!
0345 6060 973. Let's have a call in. Oh, no. Not him. Watford. Hello, Neil. Oh, it didn't work. Let me tap it again. Watford. Hello, Neil.
I enjoyed listening to your program. You're very funny.
Thanks, Neil.
A few years back, I met Boris in Watford, and he was going on about the euro.
About the euro, yeah.
Yeah, and he was babbling on, and I think he must have had a few drinks, so he spoke in the most posh accent.
Yeah.
We didn't understand a word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
He just kind of ranted on. It sounded like a cross between a dolt and a buffoon.
Right.
So the food.
Okay.
And then I'm waiting for his next public schoolboy howler. Now, can you predict one? Because he's prone to gaffes.
He'll probably say it in Latin, so nobody will understand. And then he'll remind us where he went to school. Again.
Yes. But I'm looking forward to his gaffes. I think it'll be good entertainment.
Gaffes, yeah. Okay.
Let's see what happens.
All right. Grip onto something firm, Neil. Buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. So he's a dolt and a buffoon. He's a doffoon. I like it. Caroline says, I want to go back in time to before the referendum. Oh, blimey. Can you remember before the referendum? When things made sense? Trevor says, 4 more sleeps until Bojo. It's going to be big, large, huge, and tremendous. 4 more sleeps. And Paul in Lower Boddington says, hi there. Hi there. He says, it sounds like the British might need to complain even more than normal about the weather. Oh, well, we will. We're complaining now because it's raining and we don't like it. And then next week we're going to be complaining because it's too hot. And we won't like that either. Gosh, it's hot, we'll be saying. Apart from listeners in Glasgow who will get their own weather. 0345 6060 973. Not him. I don't want to take him. Not this early. Put him on hold. Make him wait. Such a pain, that guy. He just calls over and over and over. Not just this show as well. Every single show. He's on more often than Steve Allen on this station. Make him hold. If he really, really, really wants to get on the air, then he'll wait on the end of the phone. But Simon said, am I being unkind?
No.
No. Some of you will know who it is. Simon says, I'd rather not have 93 degrees personally. I'd rather be a melting river of... I'll be a melting river of sweat, and other people will be smelly because they don't know what antiperspirant is. It's a good long while since I've really smelt somebody, odoriferous. I think most people have got the message. Take a bath once, twice a month, something like that, and you'll be just fine. Uxbridge, Lewis.
Louis.
Louis,
Exactly. Hello there.
Hello there.
Yes, hello there. My moment's finally come round. I've been calling your switchboard non-stop. I'm sure you all know who I am by now. I call
No.
the program every other day.
Do you?
Yeah, when I get a chance. You and Steve Allen are my favourites.
Well, you don't call Steve Allen. He never takes calls.
Well, I text him and tweet him. He reads them out every now and then.
Right.
I'm going to buy him a drink in the Barmy Arms very shortly. Anyway, moving on from that, this whole election thing, it will be funny on a Wednesday to watch Boris Johnson in PMQs, won't it? He'll be half cut halfway through, downing bottles of £180 wine, which he can afford, but then wants to put us poor divvy dopes on the breadline, and cut the tax for the rich and tax the poor even more. He's a masquerade to Donald Trump himself. He's an idiot. He's a blithering idiot. And I hope he's out of Parliament, forced out of Parliament by Christmas. So I can guarantee you, put money on it, that there'll be a new Prime Minister after him within the end of this year's scope.
Okay, well, you can't guarantee any such thing, and I would recommend you don't put any money on it. But apart from everything you've just said, what do you think about Boris Johnson?
I think he's a blithering idiot.
A blithering idiot, okay. What was the phrase? A dolt and a... What was the other word?
I actually can't remember.
A dolt and a buffoon. A duffoon. He's a duffoon. There's no doubt about it. All right, thanks a lot, Louis. Lewis. Britain we're in. Not Louis. There is no silent S in this country. There's a silent H. And sometimes we don't pronounce our T's, but no silent S's. This says, I thought recently that there hasn't been a Prime Minister in the UK from Northern England since Harold Wilson. What do you think about this? I don't think about it. Alex says, was that Ken waiting to save your soul? No, it was the other one. Nick, have you heard the word of the Lord? Why do you hate Jesus, Nick? I don't hate Jesus, Ken. I just hate you. This says, you are a Tory plant. What kind of a plant?
Want to score some pot?
He says, you're a Tory plant, Nick. Do you remember when Paul McCartney got arrested? I think it was in Japan, wasn't it? And the Japanese have found some marijuana on Paul McCartney, apparently. And Paul McCartney said it was a plant. Correctamundo. Anyway, where is it? He says, you're a plant. You're embedding messages in your chat to push people towards voting Tory. You should be ashamed. Brexit, the Brexit Party is the only way, says that anonymous message. Right. Well, I wonder who that was sent by.
I'm a nutcase.
Archie says, can you get the Newcastle fella on? Brian, I think. It's Quality Comedy Hour. Give him. And then that's where it ends. Give him a chance. Oh, do I have to? How many times has he called up this week? I mean, do you have those statistics? When somebody calls up, do you have the statistics about how many times they've called?
Yeah, I can find it out.
Yeah, all right. I bet it's in the double figures. He's a chronic caller, just over and over and over again. It's the same blooming call every blooming time.
Boring.
Rob says, I was working hard today. I was so hard working today, I turned into a statue. Does anything that I've read out so far make any sense?
Brian called 8 times.
8? What, this week already?
Yeah, this week.
Now, does the week run from Monday or Sunday? Or
I've run it from Monday.
Monday.
And he was on twice.
Oh, for crying out loud. Who with?
I think Tom Swarbrick.
Both times?
Once with Darren Adam, once with Tom.
Right. Okay, see what I mean? Chronic. Hi, Wickham. Hello, Owen.
Hello.
Owen.
I was just speaking about, we're on about Prime Ministers.
What?
Yet we had Michael Foot, that was the original Corbyn. He's the one that fell down the beach, couldn't even stand upright on the beach, yet Ted Heath...
No, that was Kinnock. Kinnock fell over on the beach.
No, Michael Foot.
No, it was Kinnock.
All right, I'll take your word. But Ted Heath, being a Conservative, obviously born with intelligence, could run a yacht.
What?
Then we had a yacht. He knew how to run a yacht.
He knew how to run a yacht? Well, unfortunately, those skills are not relevant to running a country.
Well, they do help because it's modern sense. Then you had Queen Margaret Thatcher, the most important lady that ran this country for years.
Well, the only lady that ran this country for years.
Yeah, and now we've got a marvellous fellow, Boris. I met him in Tame, in Oxfordshire.
Where?
Tame. It's got the widest high street in the country.
I doubt that. There's a picture of, if only this was television, I could hold my phone up and show it to you right now. There's Neil Kinnock, the Labour leader, taking a tumble on the beach. See, I was completely correct in every respect. We only deal with the facts here, Owen.
Okay, no, you're right. I apologise.
Okay, I accept your apology.
You were dead right there.
I was dead right there. He's saying...
I am very sorry that I screwed up.
But Tame is apparently the widest high street in the country.
Yeah, I doubt that, but never mind.
Well, no, you would, because in the countryside, it was also the cattle market.
Yeah.
They have the cattle market in the high street.
Right. Well, why does it have to be why? I mean, how fat were those cows? Approximately.
Well, a good cattle was proper good, rather than what we have now.
Yeah. Well, about 3 foot, something like that. 3'6".
From width to width from his belly would be about 3 foot.
About 3 foot. Right.
Yeah. But No, I met him there. He's cheerful. It's nice to see somebody that can socialise.
Who are we talking about now?
Well, who do you think who's the most sociable person in the country that's well known?
The most sociable person in the country?
Yeah, Boris.
Oh,
Lovely fella.
is he?
Met him there.
What on earth makes you think that?
Well,
What did you say to him?
He was approachable.
But what did you say to him?
It was approximately 5 years ago.
Yeah, but that's not the question. What did you say to him?
I said, how lovely to see that you're getting the country this way, and he was only
Yeah, but
working.
he wasn't leading the country at that time. He wasn't even within spitting distance of leaving the country. Leaving would be a good idea, but leading.
No, but that's why everyone should follow him, because he's the sort of person to follow.
Right. Like Neil Kinnock, everybody should follow him into the sea and keep walking.
No, because he's listened to you.
Right. But what did you say to him?
Well,
nothing.
Whether you're black, white, or indifferent, he would listen to you.
Yeah, but what did you say to him? Nothing.
I just told him more or less what I told you.
Right. And what did he say? What did he say to you? Ignored you, kept walking.
No, he was a little stand on the high street, and he was marvellous.
Well, that doesn't sound like Boris Johnson, but anything you say, Owen. Mind you couldn't tell Neil Kinnock from a hole in the ground, so I've got no idea if anything you just said is true. I doubt that there's even a place called Tame. How are you spelling Tame? How are you spelling Tame?
Thame.
Okay. Well, you got one thing right. Thanks a lot, Owen. Cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. This show doesn't make any sense, does it? It's got nothing to do with me. This show was like that when I got here. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Let me remind you about my podcast. I've changed the day that it comes out. It used to come out on Friday, but now, in order to make it extra fresh, it's coming out on Monday. And it's called the Nick Abbot Habit. If you download Global Player from your app store, then you'll find it is on the Global Podcasts there. They have made it extremely difficult to find, but if you scroll down to the Global Podcast and then along to the right and then click more podcasts or something like that, it's they've put it underneath some clothing in a darkened, locked cupboard in order to make it easier to access. Or you can point your computer at it and ask for it by name. The Nick Abbot Habit.
Hear Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbot.
Yes, hello. I've been waiting for you. Hello.
Let's have a call in Sunderland. Hello, David.
Hi there. Hi.
Dave.
I'd just like to say I don't think Boris Johnson will be very good as Prime Minister.
Well, what makes you say that?
Because they're going to, it'll be in the same boat as Theresa May, they're going to vote to stop a no-deal Brexit on us, so we'll be in the same boat.
Right, but does that reflect poorly on him or the other parliamentarians, or what?
I think it reflects on him, to be honest.
On him, right?
Yeah.
He has to take personal responsibility.
He seems a bit like an idiot.
A bit like.
Yeah. And I'm not keen on Jeremy Hunt either.
No. Well, that is understandable. But those are the only choices we got. Well, in fact, we don't have any choice. It's going to be delivered unto us, our next leader, because that is our democratic system.
I think we should have had a vote, to be honest.
Yeah, it would be a good idea, wouldn't it? But especially as the Brexit was all about taking back control and taking back our democracy. But we don't appear to have one.
I feel sorry for Theresa May, to be honest. I wish she would stay in Prime Minister.
That's, I think, you and you alone. I do feel a little bit sorry for Theresa May because she was gifted a turd sandwich by her predecessor and who popped it on a plate and then exited stage right.
I think this is nonsense.
We're still not missing you, Dave.
Do you think it would be a war with Britain and Iran?
Yes. Why? Because Donald Trump wants it.
I'll bring us into war.
And what Donald Trump wants us to do, we'll do. Because apparently we're so desperate for any kind of trade deal after exiting the EU. And even if we do get a huge and tremendous trade deal with America, it ain't going to do us no good. I have detailed facts. Are you interested in facts, Dave?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Wow, you are a strange and unusual man. All right, well, hold on right there, and I'll lay it on you, baby. Hang on, I'm going to cough. Bev tweets, your callers are more genuine than most. Where do you find them? Where do I find them? That's an excellent idea. I don't find them, they find me. They call and they call. How do they know my number? This show should go ex-directory, don't you think? Pamela tweets, let Brian on, but tell him he can't mention the B word. No. It's 31 minutes of waiting and counting. He's been on hold for over half an hour now. I'm going to wait until, because when you're on hold, before mobile phones, which you could put the speaker on, if you're on hold for the bank or something like that, you can put speakerphone on and just lay it on the desk. But before the invention of the speakerphone, you had to hold the receipt. Kids won't have any idea what I'm talking about. There used to be a thing called a telephone that was connected by wire to a hole in the wall. Can you believe that?
No.
And so you had to hold the receiver to your head if you were on hold. But after about 5 minutes, you were leaning on the receiver such that it was pressing into the side of your head. But you'd become numb to it, so you didn't realise how much you were pressing this plastic thing into your lug hole. And only when you stopped doing it did you realise the pain you were in. Such sweet relief. Neil says, Nick, why are you so unpatriotic? Can you put Brian on hold indefinitely? Yes. Yes, I can. You're welcome. Edward says, I'm waiting for Boris Johnson to address burning injustices just like Theresa May did. How long do you think I'll be waiting? Well, forever and a day. Yeah, Theresa May said that she was going to address burning injustices. How did she do?
Oh, fabulous.
So this is a story about Brussels. The European Commission Vice President, Frans Timmermans. You know Frans Timmermans? No! Yes, that's him. Brussels believed the UK would produce Harry Potter-style wizardry in Brexit negotiations, but instead faced a team like Corporal Jones from Dad's Army. Frans Timmermans, the European Commission Vice President, said in an interview with Panorama that British negotiators reminded him of Lance Corporal Jones in the comedy classic Dad's Army, as they were, in his words, running around like idiots.
Affirmative.
That sounds about right. We're supposed to be this great country of the dark arts of diplomacy. We're supposed to have really invented all that. It put us on the map, our diplomatic expertise. In what state is that now?
Dreadful.
Awful. Frans Timmermans, the European Commission Vice President, said, we thought they are so brilliant that in some vault somewhere in Westminster there will be a Harry Potter-like book with all the tricks and all the things to do in it. And the first time I saw public utterances by David Davis and I saw him not coming, not negotiating, grandstanding elsewhere, I thought, oh my God, they haven't got a plan. They haven't got a plan. He said that was really shocking, frankly, because the damage, if you don't have a plan, we see it. Time's running out. You don't have a plan. It's like Lance Corporal Jones, don't panic, don't panic. Running around like idiots. If it wasn't for the baby peach tornado in the White House, we would be the laughing stock of the world.
Oh, shut up!
Mr. Timmermans also said that he wasn't sure that Boris Johnson was being genuine in his approach to the EU while Foreign Secretary. He said, I always had the impression he was playing games. Playing games.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
And that sounds right too. I mean, you get the impression that Boris Johnson has been playing games his whole life and getting everything he wanted handed to him on a plate. Which explains why he seems to believe that just by power of thought, he can magic up some kind of success where others have tried and failed. Through the force of his excellent personality. I mean, he says it himself, constantly going on about belief and positive energy, like he's taken a life coaching seminar or a get-rich-quick scheme or preaching to the members of a cult. Believe in the power of positive mental energy and everything you wish for will come true. And that might be right if we were in a Disney cartoon. And if we were, I think he'd be goofy. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nica@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. And if you are on Twitter, you probably don't like the new layout. Did everybody get the new layout at the same time? Or are they just inflicting pain on me? I don't like it. Anyway, Friday and Saturday night at 10, Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
I'd like to punch him in the face.
Yeah! Dude!
The baby tornado. That is absolutely delicious. I love it. And that'll be my new name for the powdered nightmare in the White House.
Oh, shut up!
Tesco are putting up prices by 11%. Wow. But at least it doesn't have anything to do with Brexit. In other news, it has everything to do with Brexit.
Oh, no.
It's the hidden cost of Brexit. I mean, there's the obvious cost of Brexit, despite the fact that people say, well, nothing's happened, Nick. Why are you so unpatriotic to say that it's been bad so far? Nothing's happened, Nick. I'll just preempt that call. He's 40 minutes and he's still on hold. There's been so many things that have happened. It's just that nobody's come and taken money directly out of your pockets while you stand there and let them do it. And the supermarkets, who are in a fight to the death to slice fractions of pennies off their suppliers so that they don't have to raise the costs for us, they can't keep that up forever. Because the thing about supermarkets is they don't make much profit on the things that they sell. They rely on selling an enormous number of them. The margins on things that you buy in the supermarket are wafer thin. They make practically nothing at all on each individual item, but they rely on us buying billions of those items. That's how they make their money. And they can't keep the prices down forever, and they've just gone up by 10%. 10%! But it's much, much worse than that, and I'll come to that in a while if you are interested. Anybody interested in facts?
No.
Of course not. Margaret says, please give Boz Johnson a chance. He can't be any worse than Mrs. Mayhem. Mrs. Mayhem. Oh, poor Mrs. M. I'm feeling a bit sorry for her. Put your feet up, Mrs. M. Kick off your clown shoes. Relax. You deserve it. Anyway, he says, he. Well, it's possible. Sexist. Margaret says, please give Boz Johnson a chance. He can't be any worse than Mrs. Mayhem. We'll have our own Donald Trump. Love Donald Trump. I'm not racist, but I believe free speech and opinions. We can't fart without it being politically incorrect. Love your show. Well, you can't say fart on the radio, Margaret. You could probably do it, but you can't say it. Well, if it's silent but violent, that's perfectly acceptable. And whenever a phrase includes or whenever a sentence includes the phrase, I'm not racist, but, be very concerned about what follows.
Warning, warning.
Chris says, I'm waiting for Boris Johnson. Oh, no, I've read this. Well, I think I liked it so much the first time, I'm going to read it again. I'm waiting for Boris Johnson to address burning injustices just like Theresa May did. How long do you think I'll be waiting? 0345 6060 973. Here's calling Bristol. Hello, Barry.
Hello, Nick. How you doing?
Good, thanks.
I tell you what, it's crazy. I'm a massive fan of your show, and I've tried to ring up with lots of intelligent commentary on the things that you've been talking about. And the one thing that got me through was, tell me in a sentence what you think about Boris Johnson. And I said, floppy-haired lunatic, and they let me straight through. How fabulous is that? So
well, we're training up our glamorous assistants here. It's an ongoing process, and obviously there's been an error somewhere.
But he is a floppy-haired lunatic. But beside that, I've been listening to. So I'm a massive LBC fan, right? I've been listening to the show.
How big are you?
Your show.
I mean, approximately. How massive is massive?
Much bigger than that noise.
Bigger than that, right? Okay.
Much bigger, way. Like I appear on Google Maps.
Yeah, you could.
So
right, you can see you from the International Space Station, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and you don't need to strain to do it.
Okay.
So easily in my purview.
Yeah.
So anyway, look, I listen to LBC a lot.
Yeah, you're a massive fan. I heard that you were a massive
Huge.
fan. Yeah.
Huge, massive. We've done that, and you know what I've noticed is that the amount of people phoning in to people like James O'Brien and yourself with Brexiter leanings has decreased dramatically.
Oh, come off it. All I get are people furious, just screaming at me for being unpatriotic and with my treasonous behaviour.
Yeah, but at the time of night that you're on, they've had a few drinks, they're feeling a bit brave, they're getting a bit punchy, and let's take on Nick Abbot. But they don't do that to James, right? And they don't.
Well, no, but that's because he's a serious journalist and he knows what he's talking about. I'm just a dope who plays cow noises on the radio.
But they're also sober at that time of day as well.
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah, that does make a difference. Yeah.
But I mean, so it's a vanishingly small number of people that phone up and try to take you guys on, and they lose. Hands down, every single time.
See, I'm not sure that's right, because I think it's the opposite. The opposite is true. Maybe it's just because I'm sensitive. I'm a very sensitive person, and all I feel I get are people absolutely scream. Now, Donald Trump and Nigel Farage fans screaming at me down the phone. It is it's like being pummeled. I'm not complaining.
Stop whining.
But it's a trial.
It's distillation. They're getting stronger and stronger and stronger, but smaller at the same time. And I genuinely think if they put this vote back to the sensible people of the United Kingdom, which I'm struggling to recognise at the moment, but anyway.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, where are we right now? What's going on?
I get so confused. So if you think about the country that we've lived in quite comfortably for the last 20 to 30 years.
Yeah.
It's been the country of opportunity, free speech, human rights, people being able to live their lives quite freely, immigration, not a problem, all creeds, colours, religions, sexes, etc.
Well, let's not get carried away. I mean, if you think that we have got beyond racism or homophobia or hatred of women or any minorities, then I think you're a little deluded, Barry. You're living in a bubble in Bristol. I mean,
but it sounded like we were nearly there.
Yeah, I think that what's happened is that we've, as a nation, all nations across the world really have been creeping forward slowly. Improving by small increments over a long period of time, maybe since the Second World War. Let's make that the date. But just lately, somebody has taken the controls of the car and they've slammed it into reverse and stamped on the accelerator, and we've reversed back all of the progress that we made over the last, let's say 50, 60 years in about 2 minutes flat.
It's crazy, right? So, all these people that talk about, aeroplanes that are squirting stuff over the sky that make us all go swivel-eyed, right? Maybe they've got a point. Because I don't know what has happened, and I don't recognise how quickly it's happened. It's bonkers.
This is why you have to always maintain maximum alertness, because the improvements, the benefits of our increasing civilization can disappear in an instant.
Yeah, and it's depressing.
A little bit.
Depressing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've actually, and I know this sounds like I'm being sort of alarmist or whatever, but I've genuinely considered leaving the country. My company at the moment's all over giving voluntary redundancy. Guess why? Let's not mention the B word, but yeah, it's Brexit. And, people, we're downsizing, and I'm just thinking, do you know what? I could just take the money and disappear to, well, literally anywhere but here right now. And
Well, if anybody needs to downsize, Barry, it's you with your massive dimensions.
Absolutely. And if I don't appear on Google Maps anymore, then they won't be able to find me.
Then I'll know where you are, yeah. Or rather, I won't. Okay, thanks a lot, Barry. Cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, all the people who think that planes in the sky are squirting out, what is it they think? Mind control juice. What do they call them? The plane squirting thing. What do they call those people? The planes that squirt out the thing at the back that make your eyes go crossed. Yes, that. You see what I have to deal with? The what do they call them? The air unpurifying machines. The governments of the world have all got together and they have determined that planes high up in the sky are squirting out noxious fumes out the back in order to control our minds, in order to make us more placid. Well, you know what? It's not working. They should redouble their efforts. Those people, conspiracy theory nuts. And the moon landing people as well. Oh, blimey, have they been crawling out of the woodwork just lately? Oh, of course we didn't go to the moon because, look, there's evidence in this picture that I found on the internet. And the correlation between them and the people that vote for you know who is almost 100%.
You are going to love President Trump.
Exactly. They all seem to be of the same mindset.
We've got a few idiots in our party.
I couldn't have said it better myself. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850, email nick@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Chemtrails. Martine says chemtrails, and so there are about 1,000 other people who are trying to correct me. I think there's something wrong with my brain. I mean, that doesn't seem likely, does it?
Yes.
Every show, I seem to not be able to put my mental fingers on a word, and it just eludes me. One word is okay. If it becomes more than one word per show, warning, then you better fit me up with a hospital bed. I mean, straight away. By the way, not only do I do my own podcast, but I am putting together a podcast with Carol McGiffin. Now, she is properly funny. We used to do a show on LBC way back in the day. And we're doing another one. We're doing a podcast called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, in which we try to solve your problems. Now, if you'd like to have us try to solve your problem, then just tell us what it is. I mean, we're not mind readers. You've got to tell us what it is. Email nickandcarol@global.com, and then we will try to solve your problem for you. Now, the podcasts aren't out yet. I'll tell you when they come out, but they're going to come out soon, and I think you'll like them. In fact, I know you will. What's your problem with Nick and Carol? If you don't want us to solve your problem, me and Carol McGiffin, then email it to nickandcarol@global.com.
The Battle. This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Are you trying to tell me that this is your act?
Yeah, sadly, this is all I've got. Rex in Upton says the new replacement for Jean-Paul Juncker, Ursula von Leyen, tore a strip off Farage in Strasbourg 2 days ago after he called her a communist fanatic. She told Farage, "We don't need to hear what you have to say." Yeah. Oh, I missed that. That would have been one of those times when Nigel Farage jets in on a private plane and spends about 5 minutes in the European Parliament doing a pre-arranged stunt speech for YouTube and then flies back out again, having filled out his expenses form. You're doing excellent work, Nigel. Thanks for the effort.
I'm a nutcase.
Tina in South Wales says, "I don't think Johnson and Trump's love-in will last long. It'll start with a Twitter spat from Trump against Boris over something petty. And I'm sure Donny does his morning tweets when he has his hair and face sculpted into shape, because that must take hours." Undoubtedly that is when he does have his... He does his morning tweets when he has all his people come in and do his hair and face. Coincidentally, it's also when he does his happy morning sit-down.
Disgusting.
Neil tweets, "Are you still suffering the ill effects of the carpet cleaning?" Well, I'll never know. Either I'll have got over it and it won't affect me in any way, or it'll be what kills me. Liverpool. Hello, Stephen.
God, hold on. Hi, Nick.
Stephen.
Nick.
Is there an altercation?
There was, yeah. I was just trying to get my speakerphone off. Regarding the moon landings, now, I'm all for that we went, but
why
didn't we go? Why am I all for we went?
Yeah.
Well, because everyone says so.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
Although
Stephen, did your mum ever say, if everybody jumped off a bridge, would you do that too?
Well, listen, I actually personally don't think we actually did go. But I'm going to go with we did go. But I was going to ask you, because I'm assuming you think we went, why haven't we gone back?
Because there's nothing there.
Right, well, I predicted you were going to say that, but what the human beings generally do, we usually, if there's nothing there, we build on it and make money from it. So why haven't we done that?
Well, because there's no passing trade up there. You could open a shop if you like. You could open a bar, but there ain't no atmosphere in those outer space bars.
Well, I think Richard Branson disagrees with that, and he's making a little bus so you can go up there now.
Richard Branson's making a bus.
Yeah.
What do you want to go to space for? Let's try to improve this planet first before we start to improve space.
Is that correct? Yeah, you're absolutely right. I agree.
Now, why do you not think that we went to the moon?
Why don't?
I'm probably going to regret asking that, aren't I?
Well, I don't think we had the technology really, and it was a space race, and it was a case of Kennedy predicted we were going to go, but he was just suggesting that.
Yeah.
But we didn't do it.
It was a fight. It was a fight with Russia to get them.
It was a fight with
to get the man on the moon at some arbitrary date.
At some
rate. Yeah, regardless of the consequences to the men that were going to get sent there.
Well, but they've been interviewed, haven't they?
Who?
And the man who was sent there.
Oh yeah.
And you can't. It is all disputable, isn't it?
No, it's not disputable. Which bit are you disputing? That we actually went?
Well, how do you know we went?
Stephen, how do you know you're in Liverpool right now?
Well, I don't know.
Exactly.
And you don't know. Well, we've got to take everyone's word for things, haven't we?
Well, no, we need to. And
you have to settle and say, okay, you have to rest upon something at the end of the day.
Now, are there any other things that are provable that you just don't believe, like the Earth is round?
No.
For instance,
I'm satisfied with that.
Right.
Listen, no, I'm happy that we went there. I'm happy with that, but I don't know if it can be proved. Indefinably proved.
Well, it can.
It
It can really, because we came back with space rock.
Oh, right. And have you seen that space rock? And you can.
Can I personally prove it? No, but but
you can't know.
Scientists can.
Science. So you're going on things that you've read.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. No, but it wouldn't make any difference if I saw it with my own eyeballs. I wouldn't recognise space rock from Brighton rock.
Is the correct? Yeah, well, there you go. So, well, there you go. You've answered my own question.
There's a mirror on the moon, apparently, that you can bounce a laser off.
I've heard about that one, yeah, and it sends back relays, yeah. Well, I know. Look, it's always good for discussion, is it not?
No. No, it isn't. But anyway, it's been entertaining. You can't actually prove that there is a thing called the moon.
Yeah, you're right. I can't prove.
I mean, can you touch it? Can you feel it, squeeze it, or sniff it? No.
No, I can't.
There's no evidence that anything called the moon actually exists. And you would think that if there was such a thing as the moon, they would have come up with a more imaginative name for it than the moon. Proof. Case closed. All right, thanks a lot, Stephen. That's Stephen from Liverpool or somewhere. We just don't know. Tony says, can't you use your influence to have Trump, Boris and Farage deported with a few cows to the moon? Nick says, I bet you can't wait for your mate Brian to call in tonight. Can we get Brian in as our ambassador to Iran? I think he'll make a huge impact on them. Well, he'd make an impact on them if we sent him there by cannon. Dan in Epping says, Tame, Yorkshire, Oxfordshire rather, Tame, Oxfordshire, source of a very famous river that goes through London. Just saying. Well, there's no evidence that any river goes through London. And Simon in Windsor says, my dad was evacuated to Tame in the war. I don't know about the High Street, but I think Robin Gibb of the Bee Gees fame lived there. Really? Jimmy in Colchester says, I think we should have... yeah. God, he didn't half have a fan club, that guy, didn't he? Shall I let him on?
No.
OK, then. Now, Boris Johnson is going to be our next Prime Minister, whether we like it or not. And he has been throwing around promises like they're going out of style. And it fell to me to cost his promises. Well, it didn't fall to me. I just collated all of his promises so far and put a number to them. Other people came up with this number. Experts. Anybody interested in the opinion of experts?
Negative.
Of course not. Don't know why I'm bothering. But I'll come to that in just a minute. I'm kind of surprised that nobody's weighed in on the war thing. Because there's going to be less jaw and more war, because you know who wants a war, but he doesn't want to have to fight it himself.
I'll bring us into war.
Because, you know, his entire country's got bone spurs on their heels. So they'd rather we do the fighting for them. And as we're crawling across the carpet in order to ingratiate ourselves in his good books, then that looks like what we're about to do. What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
0345 6060 973. A couple more messages, then we'll do the news, and then I'll come back with the amount of money that Boris Johnson is promising to chuck about the place. This says the powerful telescopes we have now can see the flag the astronauts stuck in the moon rock in the 60s. That's proof. Can they? I've never seen a picture of the flag taken from this planet. So that proves it doesn't exist, because I personally haven't seen it. James and Cy in New Zealand say debris is a word in the English language which has a silent S. Yeah, but it's probably a French word. Well, it's got de in it. That's French. And brie is probably French too. French words infesting our language.
Disgusting.
0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Look at the time. It's 11:30. The news headlines with Zora Solomon.
And
the news I'll do that again. Look at the time. It's 11:30. The news headlines with Zora Sullivan.
Iran.
LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Thank you for holding. Your call is important to us.
Yes, I really mean that. Ellie in Bridgewater. Your call is very important to me, Ellie.
It's L.
Do you mind
All
if
right, fella?
Can I call you Ellie for the purpose of this call?
You can call me what you like, chap.
Right. As long as I call you.
As long as you call me.
Yes, Ellie.
Listen, your show's been, first time I've listened to it, it's been absolutely brilliant. It's like a scene out of the Monty Python sometimes, but it's great.
Thanks, Ellie.
But listen, this Boris Johnson, I'm telling you, he is a muppet for Donald Trump. It's like Donald Trump's got it, I ain't going to say the word, got his hand up somewhere, and he's just going to use him. And you can see it happening, can't you?
It's happening in real time before our very eyes.
You know, and you know what? The weird thing is, right, that everybody is going to fall for it, right? And it's like, you could just, you know, when things happen and you can see it happening and the rest of the country is going blindly into it, it's like unreal.
Yeah.
And I just sit back, and because the way you stage your show, it actually, it's a serious way of looking at it, you know, because people laugh, but I look at it and go, yeah, we have to laugh, because if we don't laugh, we'll go crazy.
Yes, this program is educational, and it's also helping people.
Well, I actually think, to be honest with you, how the rest of the country can't see what's happening with Boris. I mean, when he gets the gaffes he's going to make, right, and embarrass the country by the way he's going to contradict himself and the way he's going to humiliate the country by embarrassing us by his own words, that's going to be the humiliation.
Well, if Boris Johnson ever says anything negative about Donald Trump, then we're in real trouble.
I think Donald Trump is clearly out of his mind.
So if anybody has a tape of Boris Johnson saying anything negative about Donald Trump, then they should really keep it to themselves.
I have to say, when Donald Trump says that there are parts of London that are no-go areas, I think he's betraying a quite stupefying ignorance.
Yeah, don't sit on the fence, Boris. Tell us what you think.
Well, I'm going to tell you this now. Boris Johnson, yeah, he's going to take this country down a road where people are going to regret voting him in.
Well, people aren't. Well, I suppose some people, a vanishingly small, totally unrepresentative number of people are going to vote him in. The rest of us don't have that opportunity, because that's apparently what's called taking back democracy. All right, thanks a lot, Ellie. Cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. Len in Stockport says another appropriate name for BJ is Pocket Man. Pocket Man. Yeah, that last fellow was right. You stand back and look at what's going on and you think,
what the hell is going on?
Yeah, spot on, Donny. The baby tornado has got it spot on. Baby tornado. That might be my favourite phrase of all time. This says Boris is going to build a bridge to the moon. Well, he needs Donny's help.
I'm building a wall, okay? I'm building a wall. I'm building a wall, okay? I'm building a wall.
Nobody builds things better than him.
I would build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me, believe me.
Believe me. Yeah, every time he says believe me, don't believe him.
Believe me, believe me, believe me, believe me, believe me, believe me, believe me. Okay?
Every time he says he's an honest person, he's lying.
I'm a person that wants to tell the truth. I'm an honest person.
Yeah, sure you are. Every time he says, and you know this better than anybody, or I know this better than anybody, that means that everything that he's just said is a lie. He says that over and over again. You know this better than anybody. 6 is actually 3. Robert in Glasgow called in to say, it's definitely not raining in Glasgow at the moment. Really? Well, it will. If it's not raining now, it will be soon, and for the rest of your life. Jack the cabbie says, debris is what you get after an explosion in a French cheese factory. Oh, God. Listeners with material.
Oh, no.
Oh, that caused me pain. He says, P.S. Stop calling Brexit. I hate it, says Jack. Well, fortunately, no one is remotely interested in your opinion, Jack. Jack the cabbie. I've said this before. The absolute greatest invention in the history of humankind is the button in the back of a black cab that switches the driver off. That cuts the communication between the driver and you. You know, because like mid-sentence, you can just switch him off. Oh, funny you could do that in real life. Oh, wait, that's right, you can. No offence. Here's a call in Rickmansworth. Hello, Keith.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
You know, I look at the politics that's going on. I don't really believe it. It's mad.
It is. The whole world has gone.
Screaming Mimi in the White House.
The world's gone completely insane.
We're surely going to have a screaming Mimi in 10 Downing Street.
Yes.
Aided and abetted by the I'm a nutcase. It really is unbelievable. The only one. The funny thing is the only one.
Don't say it.
Who's talking political?
Don't say it.
Is
yes.
Kenneth Clarke and Jeremy Corbyn.
Ah, he said
who
it.
Both are saying we leave the EU politically so we can publicly own our public industries, but we stay aligned to the customs union and single market.
That does make sense.
Because it's serious sense. This country is not a 19th century great power. And we just couldn't survive.
We have not got over the fact of our diminished position in the world since the empire. We're still harping. I had a call last night when I was pretending to be a serious radio presenter on Tom's show, and I'll be doing that again on Sunday. I had a call last night from a fellow that he the first thing he did, pretty much, apart from call me a traitor and treasonous and so on, was to dredge up the Second World War. Exactly, that was my response precisely. Oh my God, here we go again. The Second World War. Can't get used to the fact that we do not rule the waves anymore.
Exactly. Hopefully Corbyn will have an opportunity to get in and have some serious negotiation. That depends to some extent on his nutcase parliamentary Blairites, because they are afraid to let him in. And if they don't if they start campaigning against him just at the time when we need some sort of unity, then goodness knows what will happen.
Well, it seems to me that the right-wing press have been throwing absolutely everything they can at Jeremy Corbyn
for the last 46 months.
From the moment he hoved into view. Previous to that, nobody had ever heard of him before outside of Islington.
You're the only presenter who, for the last 3 years and 10 months, has said it as it is, which is they don't give the guy a chance, and before he gets a chance to do anything sensible, they start throwing mud at him.
The reason, and I've said this over and over again, and the reason is specifically down to one sentence that he said. This was
it's about the press, about not letting more than one person to have a title.
Exactly. The number of news outlets controlled by a vanishingly small number of almost all foreign owners who live in tax havens needs to be addressed. And when he uttered those words, they all levelled their guns at him. And
there are going to be fireworks over the next 4 months, because there's nowhere the EU are going to, sort of compromise on this no deal thing. If Britain wants to go on a no deal, okay, go on a no deal and see what happens. And what will happen is that he will come unstuck completely. He'll be forced to go to the country or have a referendum, and then the referendum should be customs union and single market versus no deal.
I think that whole referendum thing is a non-starter. We can't have a second referendum.
We should have a second referendum.
Nobody in their right mind wants a second referendum.
We should have a second referendum.
But we might get a general election, and
hopefully,
and there will be probably a coalition government that comes out of it.
Scott Nats and Labour.
It might be the Lib Dems and Labour with perhaps a little green in there as well. Or in a worst-case scenario, the Conservatives might sell their soul to you-know-who.
I'm a nutcase.
Well, I think they will. And I think you're going to find in the next election it's a special pact with you-know-who and Boris versus Corbyn.
Versus the country. And if the Conservative Party throws their oar in with Nigel Farage, that is the end of the Conservative Party.
Yeah,
they are dead forever.
Yeah, I can't believe they'll do that. Well,
because I'll tell you what will happen is Nigel Farage will do what they call in business a reverse takeover of the Conservative Party. The smaller entity will take, as he has already, actually, because they seem to be directing their party in his direction. I knew that I was going to have trouble with that sentence the moment I started it. But they're going his way as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah. I hope the whole country is listening to this, what we're talking about, because it's just going to be fact.
Well, in that case, I regret saying anything about it because we're not interested in facts anymore, Keith. We're all about feelings, baby. Keep up. Thanks, Keith. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday and Saturday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
On LBC, call 0345 6060 973.
I just want to tell you all how happy I am to be back in the studio, making a picture again.
Yeah, it's a radio show, dear. 0345 6060 973. Latest hot news. The Metropolitan Police Twitter account has been hacked. Now, if hackers can get into the Metropolitan Police's account, then your account is probably not secure.
Warning!
I'm holding a message in my hand which comes from the Metropolitan Police's Twitter account, and I can't read it on the air. I think I can read any of the words on the air. If I was on television, then it would probably be obligatory to read all of these words like constantly after 9 p.m. in the evening. But on the radio, can't ever do it ever. So that's alarming news, because if they can hack the police, then they can probably hack you too. 0345 6060 973. Let's go with, it's been waiting the longest, be totally fair about this. Southampton. Hello, John.
Hi, Nick. How are things?
Good thing. Good, thanks.
So I'll just start by saying we have been doing facts versus feelings for 3 years. So tonight I'm not going to bother with facts because we both know where will that lead us.
Well, that's a relief.
Yeah, exactly. So let's instead of presenting the facts to the other side, let's flip the equation on it. Let's assume, Mr. Johnson is already in number 10, as we both know. In 3 days' time, it will be all official.
Yep.
So all the people who voted him in, there'll be only two pathways. That is the only two possibilities. Unfortunately, from this point onwards, it will only be these two paths of acceptance. One will be if you voted for Brexit based on whatever was promised to you. And when Boris Johnson takes over and you realize that all the lies and fake promises he made to get into number 10, none of them were deliverable, then you realize, oh, that's a mistake. And then you turn on him like you turned on Michael Gove and then support for us.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's true. I think that people will always find an excuse to fill in the gaps in their belief system.
You turn on him and you blame him, or you listen to him and blame the EU or the WTO
it'll be the
or
EU.
Anybody else except yourself.
Yes.
The other part of acceptance is he does go ahead, he does get you your no-deal unicorn Brexit, and you find out that, again, all the promises that he made, which he delivered, but you realize the results were not true. As in, we are now in no position better than when we were in the EU. Then the alternate path of acceptance would be you accept your mistake. You realize that your democracy was hijacked by rich people who bankrolled these people, and then you say, okay, I accept my mistake. and let the grown-ups take the wheel now.
That would involve loss of face, John, so that's not going to happen.
So these are the only two possibilities, my friend. The third one is if you voted for Brexit, if there's any other possibility, I'm listening, and you convince me, or even don't even convince me. You name it to me. Okay? So if you voted Brexit, these are the only two possibilities. The third is you don't do any of these. You keep blaming other people for your own doing, which in your heart you know that you have done disservice to this country, and you yourself calling yourself patriot, you won't be able to see yourself in the mirror for the rest of your life. And that's where your conscience
like
eats
Dracula,
you up.
you mean?
No, I'm looking into psychology of people because of my occupational hazard, right? So I'm not blaming anybody. Please do not. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just talking about you know, they say, be very careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Now, all these people who are asking us to believe in Johnson, can you see this is a failed journalist who'll go to US to discuss with a failed businessman who filed bankruptcy 8 times and convince them for a trade deal to bankrupt our NHS, take over us into a country where we supposedly getting the control back from EU and turning in the 52nd state of United States.
Well, these don't sound like the sunny uplands we've been promised, John, so I'm going to keep believing, if you don't mind. All right? Okay, thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Kneebs says, absolutely everything you just said with your previous caller about Corbyn, Labour, Boris and Brexit was spot on. Not an analysis often heard on the radio or TV, I'm afraid. You're getting analysis from this programme?
Negative.
I am stunned. And a little bit surprised. Well, I suppose stunned covers that, doesn't it? David says, left-wing liberalism, technology and idiocy are ripping this world apart and causing all the division and insanity. God help us all. So, in other words, exactly what that last guy just said. If you're desperate punt with Brexit and Trump and Boris and all those other heroes of the far right, if that doesn't work out for you, then it's the fault of the left wing liberalism. I'm surprised you didn't say New World Order or mainstream media. Lucas says, Boris supporters believe he'll do his little comedy show in the European Parliament and they will laugh and give him whatever he wants. They really do. But the European Union hate Boris Johnson. They hate him a considerable amount more than they dislike Theresa May. I bet they all feel quite positively towards Theresa May. But they really dislike Boris Johnson because he made a career out of taking a mickey out of them as a supposed journalist. So they ain't going to give him what he wants. Not through the force of his personality, not just by wishing it to be true, which is his plan, apparently. We must believe. That's what we're hanging the future of the country on. His ability to believe. God, what a way to run a nation, eh?
Dreadful.
James says, Abbot, you accused Trump of turning 6 into 3, but according to some of your mathematical temperature concoctions, this is actually true. Or is that an Abbot admin error? There are no errors on this programme. I think you'll find that everything has been thoroughly checked beforehand, and during and after. If I do ever make a mistake, I will admit to it. Believe me. Let's have Lancashire. Hello, Liz. No, that didn't work. We try it again. There you are. Hello, Liz.
How do you do? Hi, Nick.
I'm great, mate.
Yeah, I only found you a couple of weeks ago.
I'm here.
And, and I must admit, I'm thoroughly enjoying the show.
Oh, thanks.
By the time I've got through to you, I feel quite punch-drunk. I don't know what I believe. I don't know what I believe. Actually, when I rang up, I was ringing up about, I don't believe they ever got to the moon, so there you are. So that's pathetic, isn't it?
Well, why don't you think that?
I just don't. And I read all about it.
Why, though? I mean, that's a pretty extreme position to take, that we didn't go to the moon.
No, because we were pretty primitive, you know. About, 50 years ago?
It is amazing.
It is quite amazing.
The level of computer technology that was available back then, it is superseded many times over by the phone in your pocket.
Absolutely. But I just think it was brilliant and funny, and I just think the whole thing was amazing.
What, the moonwalk?
Well, yes, I do. Really.
Funny?
Not funny, not in that way, but I just think it's amazing to think that so many people were fooled by it. It was too perfect. Listen, it was too perfect for the day. How come they could never do it again? How come?
Well, they did do it again, many times over.
No, they didn't.
They did.
No, they didn't. You only ever saw that perfect show. You only ever saw that. No, not really. I saw all that. Now I'm an old woman, and I saw that. I watched all that. No. And I think if they'd done it, they could have done it again, and they didn't.
But they did do it. They did do it again.
Oh, well.
Many men walked on the moon.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly.
So we're being led to
believe. The ones
believe.
that supposedly did it all died. Very mysterious.
Well,
very mysterious.
No, Buzz Aldrin is still alive, isn't he?
Well, if you think so. If you think so, anything can be kidded these days.
Everyone's going to die.
Yeah, you believe what you want to believe.
Everyone's going to die eventually, Liz.
Yeah, I think some people are already dead and they're propping them up, aren't they?
There's plenty of people that are already dead.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. On that happy note, that was what I rang up for, and also to say I voted for out, and now I don't know where I'm up to. I really don't. When I see them, the more I see them, the more I hear from them, the more disappointed I am. I really am. The more I hear them, I think, God, what idiots. What idiots.
Well, if you're allergic to disappointment, then I've got bad news for you, Liz.
Yeah? Go on.
The future. That's the bad news. Get ready for a lot of disappointment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. So do you subscribe to any other crazy conspiracy theory? I mean, perfectly reasonable thoughts about
no,
world
about
events.
The present day living. I mean, I am constantly barged with phone calls from the I don't know, everyone that wants to get into my bank account. Truly, I have that every day coming on. And
well, that isn't a hoax. People do actually want your money.
Absolutely, I know they do, but it's a darn nuisance. You pick the phone up and these con people on, and they,
And they'll ask for your PIN number. Yeah. Hey, by the way, Liz.
Yeah.
What's your PIN number?
I'm not that daft. I'm daft, but not quite that. Anyway, nice to speak to you.
Is it? You
do keep me amused.
Thanks, Liz. I appreciate it. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4 like mine?
Yes, pretty similar.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Anyway, nice to speak to you.
And you too. Pop your card in the post and I'll let you know how I get along. All right. I'll send you a postcard from the Bahamas. My password is password, by the way, in case you were wondering. How can you hack into the Metropolitan Police? You'd think that they'd have security, being, the police. But somebody has. So I am led to believe somebody has hacked into the Metropolitan Police's Twitter account. Here's a question. Why does the Metropolitan Police have a Twitter account? What do they need one of those for? A Twitter account? I mean, what kind of a grown-up would be spending all day on Twitter, by the way?
Oh, shut up!
Hey, you know what? I still haven't gone through the costing of Boris Johnson's plans. I wonder if I'll be able to squeeze that in before the end of the programme. There's just so much to talk about. It boggles my mind contemplating it. 0345 6060 973, text 84850, email nick@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, don't...
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Hold the line. I'm trying to connect you.
Yes, I'm trying to connect a wide variety of people. I'll get to those in just a minute. 0345 6060 973. Mick says the police Twitter account password was probably 999, something simple for most of the officers to remember. What is the number for 999, by the way? Kath says the moon landing was faked. It was actually filmed in Onga. Right. Have you been to Ongar lately?
No.
Peter says, how's your car doing? Oh, I don't know whether I should get into it. It's causing me great pain. I did get it back today, and I took my life in my hands by driving it in. It's probably on fire right now. This says, your caller Liz is misguided. 12 men walked in the moon, and two of the first, Alston and Collins, are alive. They walked in the moon. I had no idea. Alston and Collins. They were the first? Paul says, well, I read it on the internet, so I guess it must be true. Paul says, many people don't believe we landed on the moon and often say we didn't have the technology at the time to do so. I think the technology required was never the real issue. The main thing was having a full understanding of the physics involved. Oh, physics.
Boring.
Please tell me more. And Fabian, or it could be Fabien, emails, listening to you in Normandy in France. Really like yours. Back in London next week, where we will have a new PM, Crazy Johnson. If Farage gets into power, I'll have to go back and live in France. Mind you, we have Le Pen and the Gilets jaunes, and you have Brexit and Johnson. What's worse? That's going to be the topic for the next hour. Which is worse? Call me now. No, don't. 0345 6060 973. Let's have a call in Datchet. Now you can hear me tapping it. It just doesn't want to work. There it is. Christine.
Hi.
Christine.
Hi, Mick. Nick.
What?
I called you Mick.
I want you to call me Mick from now on.
No, Nick.
No, I'm self-identifying as a Mick now. Let me rephrase that.
Well, really, I just rang up. I've been so furious all evening with listening to. I've never ever listened to him, Jacob Rees-Mogg. And, oh God, it's. I don't know how LBC gives Jacob Rees-Mogg. And
we are a rainbow coalition of voices.
All they do is hello.
Yes.
And it's just a waste of time listening to them, and if you ever ring in to say something that they don't agree with, they don't even take your call, or they say, "Oh well, yes, I'm sorry, we've got to go to the news now." Yes, that's your view, and not the country's view. And basically, I think the navel gaze, and they're so selfish, and they have their own self-interest feathering their nest over there. And all they actually do is spout hatred.
Now, are you talking about all MPs, Conservative MPs, or just the ERG?
Ilk.
Right.
And Jacob Rees-Mogg. If you hear him on the LBC hour that he has, it's absolute nonsense that he talks. You know, it's the country's, he's talking to idiots in the country.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of people that agree with everything that he says. And there's a lot of people that agree with everything that is the opposite of that. We're split right down the middle. Well, it's not down the middle. A third of the people agree with Jacob Rees-Mogg. A third of the people agree with James O'Brien. And a third of the people are saying they got no idea.
Well, I think more than a third agree with James O'Brien. I'd say like half.
Half?
Yeah, or
right.
3/4.
Okay, so half agree with James O'Brien, a third agree with Jacob Rees-Mogg, and a third are saying,
yeah, such a lot of sense, you know, and he's not hateful. He actually discusses and analyzes and lets people say what they have to say, and agree to differ. Whereas they just cut you off. Jacob Rees-Mogg and Nigel Farage just cut you off. You cannot say what you want to say.
Right, now the amount...
He actually said, Jacob Rees-Mogg said, that Boris Johnson is in contact with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump actually said How stupid is this? And Donald Trump actually said he spoke to Theresa May and she took no advice from him. Who is Donald Trump to interfere in our business?
This is what I just... this blows my mind, because Nigel Farage and his ilk have been banging on about us taking back control from the unelected European Union, the undemocratic EU, which is the opposite of the truth. It is elected, it is democratic, but what they want to do, apparently, is to take back control of a rainbow coalition that represents the European Union, in which we have a great say, and they want to gift this country to an out-of-control, bright orange narcissist.
Oh, my God. We'll have to do what the French do. Have a revolution. And
oh, right. I thought you meant shrug your shoulders and go, have a cigarette. All right, thanks a lot, Christine. 03. I think we'd probably be better off if we just did what the French did. Just go, I don't care. What do you think, Melania?
I don't care.
Exactly. Janet says, last time I checked, I was in reasonably sound mind, and I definitely would like a second referendum, and I'd like them to continue until Brexit is defeated.
We should have a second referendum.
Only an idiot would think that we should have a second referendum. Nobody in their right mind should think that we have a second referendum.
We should have a second referendum.
Definitely keep that to themselves if they think that. Josh says, every smoked kipper that Boris orders from the Isle of Man for his breakfast is humanely treated with its luxurious pillow of ice. I just can't believe that. I mean, people have been saying that Boris Johnson is our version of Donald Trump, the baby tornado in the White House. I love that phrase. Thanks for that, Zora. Excellent work. The baby tornado. And he actually seems to be trying to live up to that description, Boris Johnson, waving a kipper around and saying on stage in front of people that it is the European Union who are ruining the business of a close personal friend of his on the Isle of Man, which isn't even in the European Union, because each and every fish that he smokes has to be provided with its own ice pillow, which is kind of amusing. If it were true. Actually, it remains amusing whether it's true or not. Now, the truth of it is that it's not a European Union law at all. It's our law, a British law, that insists that each fish has its own personal ice pillow. If you want to put it in an amusing, extreme way like that, but it's just in order to try to protect us from, dying. You've got to keep fish fresh. How does fish get kept? On ice. Not in ice, because that's frozen fish. But if it's going to be fresh fish, then it gets kept on ice, or an ice pillow, if you like. But it's not the European Union law. He either is ignorant of that, or he was lying for effect. You could call it stupefying ignorance.
I think he's betraying a quite stupefying ignorance,
he said, staring in the mirror. Shocking. I mean, it really is just amazing. He is doing exactly what Donald Trump's doing. Donald Trump telling those lawmakers, the 4 women of colour, to go back to where they came from, to their bleep hole countries. I know he didn't say that in that context, but that's what he said. It should go back to where they came from, which in a lot of cases was, I think, New York, wasn't it? But that's not what he meant. And then he stood on stage at his demented, these safe space rallies with those drooling yeehaws that he surrounds himself with and their Make America White Again hats. And they started up the chant. They were just chanting what he said. Send them home. Send them home. And he gloried in it like Benito Mussolini. And if you want to be really alarmed, just dial up on the World Wide Web a video of Benito Mussolini. You don't have to understand what he's saying because he's speaking in foreign. But just look at the way he acts. Donald Trump is impersonating Benito Mussolini. I wonder if he actually realises that. And he just gloried in it. He likes, that's his favourite part, when he's on stage just riffing away, doing the same old routine. Lock her up, build the wall, make America great again. And the people that go to those rallies, it's actually just really quite frightening. And so they were shouting, repeating his phrase, "Send them home." And he was glorying in it. And then somebody asked him the next day, he said, should you really have allowed your crowd of demented yeehaws to actually say that out loud? And like a child who was caught with his hand in the biscuit tin, he said, I didn't do that. No, I didn't say that. That wasn't me. I stopped that really quickly. I didn't like that. They were repeating what you said. And he just does that, excuse me, puts his hand up, and then says something that's the opposite of the truth, and then doesn't stop talking. That's a good trick of his. If you don't stop talking, then people can't interrupt you. They can't correct you. And he puts his hand in people's face and says, excuse me. And that stops them talking too. I didn't say that. I stopped them really quickly. Look at the video. 13 seconds, 13 long seconds of an audience chanting, send them home. He didn't stop it. He didn't start talking really quickly. He waited till they'd finished, and then he carried on. He is just the most despicable person on earth.
You are going to love President Trump.
At this moment. Another more awful one could come along at any moment. Who knows? But at the moment, you're number one, Donny.
Donald Trump is not a nice person.
0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Let me remind you about my podcast. It's the best of this show and some extra bits too. It's a half an hour long. If you wish to be amused, then that's right up your alley. And it's called The Nick Abbot Habit. It's available on Global Player. That's our app. Go to the App Store, download Global Player. It's in the podcasts section there. If you don't do it by phone, then point your pewter at it and ask for it by name. The Nick Abbot Habit.
This is LBC. This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet @LBC. Text 84850.
Is he crazy, or is that just the way he acts?
Pam tweets, where's Brian? Surely he can't still be hanging on. Yes, he is. Hanging on the telephone like Blondie. Someone called in to say that if you ask Alexa to play the Nick Abbott Habit, then it just plays and you don't need to click any buttons. Well, yeah, that's the nature of the... that's the nature of the thing. I mean, it ain't got no buttons, has it? Alexa, put nuclear fallout shelter on my shopping list. I think we're going to need it. And Tony tweets, Farage and Moggs ERG say they're not extremists, yet they are prepared to risk the Good Friday Agreement and suspend Parliament. That does seem a bit extreme. We're taking back democracy and preventing anybody from voting. Does that make sense?
No.
No, not to me it doesn't. But then I'm not an expert. Newham, Aisha.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
I think Boris Johnson will make a great Prime Minister.
Ah, well, that's a relief. Why do you think that?
I think he will make a great Prime Minister.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But why do you think that?
Well, he'll be better than Theresa May.
Okay, that's not a very high bar. Why do you think he'll make a great Prime Minister?
Well, he's a good liar.
I didn't see that coming. Huh. Liar! You say.
And he looks like Donald Trump.
Yeah, he looks like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be like staring in the mirror.
Yeah, it could be. They could be related. You should get a DNA test on them.
Yeah, if only that Jeremy Kyle show was still on the air.
Yeah.
I know. It's
they could be related, you know, because he's blonde, he's blonde.
Yeah, they both have the same athletic physique.
Yeah. So they could be related, you know.
Right. Well, they could be the same person. I mean, has anybody actually seen them in the same room at the same time? No. I rest my case.
And, you know, he could also help him. You know, why doesn't he do this? Send all the criminals to help Donny build a wall.
Right.
And then, you know, we wouldn't even need to build prisons or worry about any of that.
Okay, but right. Well, you've obviously given this a lot of thought, and we
could send them all to help Donny build the wall.
We'll build the wall.
And then, you know, we wouldn't have no criminals here. We wouldn't have to worry.
Right. Okay. Would you like to be the next Metropolitan Chief of Police?
Yeah, but you know that police account has been stolen by Donny as well.
Well, it's been stolen by somebody, apparently. They're trying to
it's been stolen by Donald Trump because he needs money to build a wall.
They're trying to get it back. I don't... the police's Twitter account has been stolen by somebody. It's been hacked. The police have called the police. But they put them on hold. Thanks a lot, Aisha. 0345 6060 973. A wall, you say? Well, the one thing about a wall is that once it's built, you just cannot get through it.
If there's a concrete wall in front of you, go through it, go over it, go around it, but get to the other side of that wall.
Andrew says, relating to your recent caller, Christine, I disagree totally. I find Jacob and Nigel very polite, says Andrew. Rob says, I feel sorry for Boris. He's combeless. He's combeless. Please help me. I need your help. I've got no comb. I'm combeless. Listener with material.
Oh, no.
But normally I don't like that, but I'll make an excuse in this one case, and this one case only. Excellent work, Rob. Christopher emails, tonight could be Brian's big night when he finally persuades you and us that Brexit is brilliant. He's probably got more chance of winning the £96 million jackpot on tonight's Euro Millions, but it's worth a shot, so go on, let him on. Perhaps he's been saving up his irrefutable Brexit rationale for tonight's call. Well, he's still there. He's been waiting 2 hours, 5 minutes now. I don't know. Do you think I should let you on, Brian?
It's up to you.
Okay, I'll put you back on hold. We seem undecided. I think he's undecided. He needs time to think. Josh says, has Boris ever answered a question without the prefix FURF? I think that's how you pronounce that. F-F-F-U-R-F-F. FURF. I think the answer is no, says Josh. Yeah, it's a no from me. Brian is gone. Oh, Brian, don't go. I think he was upset. I think I've disappointed him. I couldn't be happier. Tony says, when Boris and Don become the new Laurel and Hardy, people will be screaming for Mrs. M to come back.
No.
No, I don't think so. I think we need somebody else. You know, this does seem to be the point at which the Labour Party should really be coming forward and taking over, doesn't it? But they seem to be riven with their own furious complications. And so there's a giant gap in the market. Maybe the Lib Dems, I mean, I know they're having a moment and all, as is Nigel Farage, but neither of them really fit the bill. They're not big enough to take over. Well, the Lib Dems used to be bigger, I suppose, historically speaking. But it just seems like such an open goal. And it pains me a little bit to say it, but maybe Jezza should leave the stage for somebody who's a bit more palatable, for somebody who has less baggage. Now, in that respect, you would say that the right-wing media would have won. But maybe whoever takes over the Labour Party can keep some of the flames, some of the issues that are close to Jezza's heart, on the back burner, not forget them entirely. I mean, not do a Tony Blair and just sweep the whole thing away and be the Conservative light. But maybe it is time for somebody else to take over, because it just seems like such an opportunity that's going squandered, that is being squandered, rather, because he's just got so much baggage. Maybe if he shaved would be a good idea. I'm not sure that this country is ready for a premier who doesn't shave. I'm just saying. I mean, we're about to get a premier that doesn't comb. So maybe one step at a time. But who could it be? They would probably choose somebody who looks a bit like Tony Blair. Maybe it should be a woman person, or a person that identifies as a woman. Maybe a person that identifies as a human being would be a good start. Is any of this controversial?
No.
Well, that's a relief. Christopher emails, oh no, I've read that. Josh says, no, I've read that. Tony says, I've read that. God, I'm really caught up. I'm doing extremely well. Kath from the Onga tour. Oh, come on! Too many people with material. Stockton on Tees. Hello, Brian.
Yes. Good evening, Nick.
Yes, Brian.
I've already won 96 million tonight.
You've won £96 million. Yes.
That means I'm going to get Brexit as well, doesn't it?
I haven't checked whether I've won the Euro Millions. I mean, I didn't actually buy a ticket. Do you have to buy a ticket to win? Because that seems...
You have to buy a ticket.
That would,
you have to buy a ticket.
To win. That would seem unfair. That would discriminate against people who haven't bought a ticket.
Right. Boris takes over in 5 days. Looks way odds on. Yeah. And he's going to get first crack at delivering Brexit.
He's not going to do it.
And if he doesn't do it, Nigel Farage will take over.
What do you mean? Take over? Take over? How is he going to take over? What, stage a coup?
Because Philip Hammond is an educated fool. He's a weasel, spineless weasel.
But what's this got to do with... What has this got to do with Nigel Farage?
If you listen for once in your life, I'll tell you. this bloke, Hammond, right?
You know, I think you being put on hold has not improved your mood, Brian.
You've had your say all night. Now listen to somebody else for a change with a different view, right? This Hammond, right, is prepared to crush his own Conservative Party.
In order to protect the country, Brian.
To put carbon in?
No, to protect the country from the ruinous event that would be a catastrophic, hard Brexit.
Look, this bloke won't even be on the back bench as long after Brexit.
How is Nigel Farage going to take over?
What, just a second, Nick. He wants Drummond out the party along with Gork, Liddington, a lot of them, right?
But what has that got to do with Nigel Farage?
Because Nigel Farage will get stronger and stronger if they don't deliver Brexit. they are saying,
what,
right?
Like the Hulk, you mean?
Hammond is saying, I will stop no deal.
Yes.
Right. Him taking off the table, right, means we won't get the deal. It is just weakening Johnson's hand. No, and that means you will get a no deal.
No.
That is how thick this bloke is, Hammond. That's how thick he is. Supposed to be a clever bloke.
He's trying to prevent a no deal in order to facilitate a deal.
He's a brainless fool, along with Gork and Liddington.
So how is Nigel Farage going to take over?
You're on about
in this fantastical scenario that you've conjured up in
We're talking about Hammond.
Your furious purple world.
Hammond said it will cost us 90 billion, right?
Yeah.
It's for over 15 years. We can't tell what's going to happen next month. The bloke is a joke.
No, but we can tell what's happened already, Brian. Right? And what's happened already is
happened.
I knew you were going to say that. You're impossible to argue against because you refuse to accept the facts. We're not talking about the future. I'm talking about what has happened already. And thank goodness for my my mental well-being that we're fresh out of time. Because look, it's 12:30. Brian, apparently he's still shouting. Still shouting. Yeah, still shouting. Okay. Look at the time. I ain't making it up. It's just past 12:30. The news headlines on LBC with Zora Sullivan.
Iran. Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
Listen to him. He knows everything.
Yeah. Shall I talk a little bit about Philip Hammond? Just a smidge. Philip Hammond, national hero. The Telegraph, and it was really great against the Telegraph to actually write anything positive about Brexit at all. So usually they try not to. Every now and again, a smidge comes out that is positive. Simply by walking out of the door of 11 Downing Street, Philip Hammond committed the most public act of rebellion of his 3-year tenure as Chancellor on Thursday. At that very moment, he was meant to be in the House of Commons preparing to vote against a hostile amendment to a government bill on Northern Ireland. RRR. But in what one of his colleagues described as an act of total contempt, the Chancellor ignored the 3-line whip, a whip, imposed by Theresa May, and he was making sure that the world knew it. One senior Tory said he has undermined Theresa May ever since the last general election, and his parting shot to her is an act of complete disloyalty. Huh. Is that the same Theresa May that her own party can't wait to get rid of?
Yes.
Mr Hammond's long-planned decision to abstain from Thursday's vote contributed to a 41-vote defeat for the government and put a fresh obstacle in the way of a no-deal Brexit, just as he hoped. The evil, conniving so-and-so. Boo! It was the culmination of weeks of plotting involving not only Mr Hammond but also fellow Remain-voting cabinet ministers David Gauke, Greg Clark and Rory Stewart. Filthy, nasty plotters. Plotters who are determined to block a glorious no-deal Brexit by any means possible when they inevitably return to the backbenches next week. The group apparently first met in June, holding regular sessions in the Chancellor's office, at which they discussed plans by Dominic Grieve, the Remainers' rebel-in-chief, to use any and all bills passing through Parliament as vehicles to block no deal. Mr Grieve, the former Attorney-General, helped by Sir Oliver Letwin, a former No. 10 policy advisor, came up with a ruse to utilise the Northern Ireland Executive Formation Bill, which deals with devolved government, to their advantage. They're just in it for themselves.
Correct.
Mr Hammond, determined to use his considerable clout to get as many ministers and MPs on board as possible, began texting fellow ministers, including members of the Cabinet, to encourage them to defy the Prime Minister. Poor Mrs M. He listed the names of ministers, including Mr Gauke, Mr Clark and Mr Stewart and himself, who had agreed to abstain, and invited recipients, quotes, to join us. A lot of people who got the text were disgusted by it, said one former minister.
Disgusting.
And how did Hammond defend this indefensible, treasonable act? Rather than explaining himself in person, Mr Hammond turned to Twitter. The Conservative Party has always, at its core, had a fundamental belief in the importance of strong institutions, and in a representative democracy there can be no more vital institution than its Parliament. It should not be controversial to believe that Parliament be allowed to sit and have a say during a key period in our country's history, he wrote. And that is absolutely correct. He's totally right. It was the only thing that a loyal servant of the people should have done. We pay him to act in our best interests, not in the interests of the billionaire backers of Brexit, who for the most part don't even live here or pay tax here. Thank you, Philip Hammond, for doing something that used to be called the right thing, before that was changed to mean obedience to whoever shouts the loudest.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Those of us who actually, think these days. Of course, thinking is very old-fashionable. Old-fashioned. Mick emails, I wonder what Baby Orange Tornado's hairdo would look like in a tornado, and would it survive? What, the tornado? Paul says, did Brian buy his crystal ball from a cheap bazaar? None of his predictions ever came true. What, the fellow I was just talking to? It's not that his predictions come true. His assertion of what is happening at this moment haven't come true. I mean, anybody can tell you what's happening right now, apart from that guy who just refuses to believe anything that he has not already stated as fact, or, more accurately, has heard from somebody else. It's all received wisdom. He's just a ditto head. Whatever Nigel Farage said last, that's what I believe. I refer you to the answer that he gave some moments ago. It's painful. You don't have to imagine. I knew he was going to say that. I can telegraph. He telegraphs ahead of time everything that he's going to say. That fellow that I just spent it seemed like years. It was about 2 minutes. Just before the news at past. Nothing's happened yet. The amount of times I've heard that from people. Oh, economists, Nick, they were saying that everything was going to be dreadful. But nothing's happened. How staggeringly ignorant do you have to be? How much of a refusenik do you have to be not to understand what has happened? Just because somebody hasn't come and taken the money out of your hand doesn't mean that nothing has happened. Holy moly, it was on the news. In this show, Tesco's has put up the cost of, I can't remember whether it was hundreds or thousands, don't really make no difference, 11%. They've been trying desperately to keep prices down. That's why the prices in the supermarket have only gone up a relatively small amount. I mean, it seems like quite a lot, actually, but it isn't the extent of what it is that has been happening, because they have been desperately trying to keep prices down. The supermarkets, they're in a fight to the death. And the margin that they make on each thing that they sell is tiny. So any increase in their costs, any increase in the cost of raw materials, in the cost of doing business, in the cost of decisions that companies make to disinvest from this country, which have been going on ever since we voted to leave the European Union, all of those costs, all of that upward movement in inflation has been beaten down by supermarkets, because there's a massive supermarket war going on at the moment. I mean, the big names, they're in a fight to the death with the German discount chains. And then, of course, there's the American takeover of you-know-what. And that's the reason why the prices in the shops haven't gone up, is because there's a price war going on at the minute. But they can't keep doing that forever. And something's got to give eventually. And the nation's favourite store, by the amount that we spend in there, has they put up, well, and you'll notice it at the till. Of course you will. I've noticed it already. But you can't, you cannot tell people like that to open their eyes and look at the evidence, because anything that is that creates a dissonance in their mind, anything that is the opposite of what they previously thought, they cannot take on board. They just say it's not true. It does not exist. I mean, I can go through it. It's getting a bit late in the show for me to go through and give you a whole slew of facts. Maybe I'll do it when people are more wide awake tomorrow. I'll do it. I'll go through it more tomorrow when we're more wide awake. Here's another one. Mike says, we now know there is no impartiality on LBC. Abbott is not balanced at all. What, you mean mentally? That is absolutely true. No impartiality on LBC. There's another person that thinks that we're only being impartial when he hears things he agrees with. It can't be Nigel Farage 24 hours a day, Mike. Every now and again, you're going to hear something you disagree with. I'm sorry if that upsets you. Do you want to run to your safe space? I follow Andrew Pierce. We disagree on absolutely everything. But when you were listening to Andrew Pierce, you agreed with everything that he said. And you thought, gosh, this is very balanced. Because I don't disagree with anything that he says, so it must be balanced. People just they do not understand the concept of balance. It doesn't mean that you agree with it. Painful. Let's have a call in Glasgow. Andrew.
All right, Nick, how you doing?
Great, mate.
Right, well, me and you go back a long time because I remember you used to do a show with Jono on Virgin. Would that be correct?
Wow, that was a long time ago. No, I didn't do it. No, I never. I don't think I ever did a show with Jono.
Oh, was it? Oh, well, sorry, wrong, Nick. Sorry. Right. Well, my issue is with the two blondes. We've got one in London and one in Washington.
Yeah.
Right. Now that head case in Washington who's spraying his hair with obviously a lot of hairspray because when the wind blows it doesn't flow. Now you've got this monkey in London. You've got this monkey in London who scratched his head.
Oh, did you get that? You did? Okay. I felt that was coming. He just forgot that he was on the radio, and he was probably well lubricated. I bet he was calling from Sucky Hall Street. It's about closing time. The stuff that I used to see on Sucky Hall Street when I was living in Glasgow for a while there. Oh, it like comical. That could fill a show. That could. But he just forgot where he was, and he expressed himself in an earthy manner. But I like that part about the hairspray and Donald Trump. It doesn't move in the wind.
I know a lot about wind.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Come on, we're running late.
0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Let's have Leytonstone. Hello, Phil.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I wanted to speak about this Iran debacle. Really, I don't know if our Defence Secretary Penny Mordaunt is a student of history, but about 80 years ago, in the North Atlantic, we had a convoy system, and that was a great help in defending the ships that were in the North Atlantic. Now, the North Atlantic is much bigger than the Strait of Hormuz. I've heard it said on the radio that there are 30 ships a day that pass through the straits. I'm sure that if they had a convoy, the British government, maybe with the help of the Americans, could defend it.
Right. Are you all right?
Yes. I'm fine, but I'm really embarrassed about this Iran thing. The Iranians said that they would
retaliate in kind, and then we express amazement that they did exactly what they told us they were going to do. And here's the thing. I mean, I mentioned this the other night. The American government, a branch of the American government, looked into what the sanctions on Iran are actually causing to the people in Iran. And it's actually terrible. The conclusion of the branch of the American government that looked into the effect of the sanctions was that it's practically an act of war. They didn't put it quite like that, but that's what it looks like. They're being prevented from receiving medicines that they need in order to keep them alive. They're being prevented from receiving food and everything that goes with it. But just those two things alone. Imagine if that was happening in this country. Imagine if Donald Trump had a deal with this country that he just ripped up because the deal was signed by his predecessor, who he doesn't like. He's trying to undo everything that Barack Obama did. And the cause of that was that we didn't get the medicines we need and we don't get the food that we need. So people were actually dying because Donald Trump woke up one morning in a huff.
Yes, but we don't have proxy armies in various countries around the world trying to spread our ideology.
Well, that's the painful.
Yemen, Iraq.
The painful thing about it is that we are Donald Trump's proxy army. We appear to have started fighting his war for him. All, I suspect, in order to gain his, in a desperate attempt to gain his approval, in the hope of getting a tremendous and huge trade deal, which isn't really going to help us anyway.
Probably not.
I mean, it'll amount to 0.2% of GDP in 15 years. That's the official conclusion. 0.2% over 15 years. That's going to be the benefit of this trade deal that we're expecting with America. Because don't forget, we already trade with America. It's not like we don't sell them anything and we don't buy anything from them. They're our biggest trading partner.
Yeah, but never mind America. The British should be able to defend themselves properly, and the British government should act in a responsible fashion when they've been threatened by a foreign power. And they've really, really let themselves down. They have.
So you're suggesting what?
Well, I think we should have had better defences in the Strait of Hormuz, because the Iranians said they were going to attack us.
Yeah, well, a better defence might be not to have attacked them in the first place.
Well, that was to do with Syria, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't really. It was to do with America. Fat Donny told us to do it. We went and we said, yes, sir, certainly, sir. That's the nature of us taking back control, doing whatever he says.
Well, I'll have to...
Look into it, Phil. Get back to me.
Okay.
Okay. Wasn't expecting that. That's very cooperative, Phil. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Peter says, those with very basic intellect, like Nick, just cherry pick and choose to believe what fits in with his own view. We know from his ramblings that he's pretty daft at the best of times, but on Brexit he's totally clueless. He believes the financial forecasts of doom and gloom. Oh, for crying out loud, Peter. The financial forecasts of doom and gloom are not forecasts. It's a conclusion of what's happening now. It's just staggering to me that people refuse to believe anything that they hear or read, or any expert or any fact, if it doesn't already correspond to their own fantastical beliefs. It's amazing to me. This seems to be a recent phenomenon as well. People just get to select their own facts now. And if it doesn't correspond to what you already think, then you just dismiss it as fake news. We're all living in Donald Trump's world now.
I can be more presidential than anybody.
It's actually painful. This does seem to be a recent phenomenon, doesn't it? That people just refuse to believe facts. You can't choose your own facts. There's no such thing as an alternative fact. It is either true or not true. From peak to trough, the pound in your pocket has dropped about 20% since the referendum. That's not up for dispute. That is a fact. So to say that the prophecies of doom have not come to pass is incorrect. Yes, they have, unless you don't mind losing 20% of the value of your money. Again, people think that inflation hasn't gone up that much because the prices in the supermarkets haven't gone up that much. They've gone up, but not a tremendous amount. And that's because supermarkets have been holding the prices down because they're at war with each other. But that can't last forever. And it's already, the dam has burst. And when the biggest raise their prices, then everybody else is going to say, oh, okay. Well, thank goodness somebody's gone first. We'll have to do it too. They all will. To say it hasn't happened yet is just ridiculous in the face of all of the evidence to tell you that it has. Look at the value of the pound. Don't take it from me. Look it up. I bet somewhere in your home there's a screen-based method of looking stuff up. It's probably connected to a wire that goes into the wall. It'll be called the internet. Just look it up. But I don't know why I'm wasting my breath, because even if you did look it up, you'd say, oh, well, that's somebody who's faked that graph. Office for Budget Responsibility. Somebody is, that's just a figment of someone's imagination. Chancellor of the Exchequer, there's no such thing. Bank of England, nonsense. So they're pointless talking to them because they just refuse to believe. Hannah says, please do the Boris budget promises thing soon. No, I've run out of time. I'll have to do it tomorrow. She says, my phone is about to die and I live on a boat. And the engine is airlocked, so I can't charge the leisure battery, so I can't charge my phone, says Hannah. Really, Hannah, please tell me more.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
I'll do it tomorrow. It'll still be relevant tomorrow, Hannah. Conrad says, now I'm quoting the Office for Budget Responsibility. That says it all. Not reliable at all, says Conrad. Some people you just can't reach. What we got here is failure to communicate. What he means is that once an economist got something that wasn't 100% correct, and so now everything that not only economists but all experts of any stripe, everything that they say from now on can be ignored. I don't like to say it. Well, in fact, I won't say it. What's a polite way of saying stupid idiot? Answers on a postcard to the following address. Let's have a call in Ipswich. Hello, Gary.
Hello, Nick. How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Feeling a bit more positive this week?
You bet I am. No, not really. Why?
You quoted the name Sir Oliver Letwin just a minute ago. Well, a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is the guy that dumped government documents in a bin in a park, isn't it?
I don't know. If you say so.
Yeah. Yeah, a few years ago, he left. Now, he was obviously doing a drop, leaking information, or he was just daft enough to put rubbish in a bin.
Well, at least he put it in a bin.
I know, and then they've given him a knighthood. Oh man, you couldn't make it up, really, could you? The sort of people that govern our country.
All you have to do is keep your head down. If you're in a position of power in the government or an MP of any kind, just keep your head down. Don't make any waves, and eventually you will be rewarded with a badge and a funny name.
And last weekend, what a weekend of sport, eh? Everybody was uplifted in the country.
You've got to be kidding me. When we nicked the World Cup in cricket, boring. That was the only interesting thing about it, that we nicked it. I think that says it all, don't it? Gary, I've got to go. I'll be back at 10 o'clock this evening, and I'm talking all over his intro. Steve Allen will set you straight at 5, but right now it's Matt Stanley.
Nick, I found you on Twitter. I've located you.
I'm not there. I'm here.
I've found your account, and I'm now following you. I can find no evidence that you're following either Andrew or myself, but that can all change between now and 10 o'clock tonight, right?
No.
You are so miserable about the cricket. There was the most exciting thing I've ever experienced in my life.
Last we stole it.
It was the 4th best day of my life.
We stole it.
On a serious matter, a tiger has taken refuge in someone's house, and Donald Trump talks to reporters, well, basically like they're kids, and like he, Nick, is a full-blown dictator.
Yes. Benito.